Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Kessel Run Review 10s. Before we get started with the show, I want to take a minute to call on everyone watching to help in the fight to save the vintage collection. The resistance needs you. The 3 3/4 inch line has been dying out for a while now. And I don't know about you, but I've been collecting this line my whole life. Nothing against the other lines, including the Black Series. I do have a couple figures from that line, but they're just too big and I don't have enough space. This is only a smidgen of my collection. The rest of it stays boxed up and I rotate it out every once in a while. So if you don't want to see the vintage collection die, let Hasbro know on social by using hashtags FightForTVC, hashtag BackTVC, and hashtag Save375. The more noise we generate by posting and sharing content, the more likely it is that our beloved line won't die. The finale of the Clone Wars gave us some of the best Star Wars yet. It was sad to see an end to the series that we've loved for so long, but I still have hope that we'll see new additions to the toy line and story. I started collecting the Clone Wars line pretty much immediately after seeing the movie in 2008, so my collection is almost complete. Let's take a look at some of my favorites. In this 10s, we're going to take a look at 10 of my favorite figures from the Clone Wars line. There are so many great figures in this line, it's hard to pick just 10. It helped a little to add 5 bonus clones. The Clone Wars toy line ran from 2008 to 2013. Over this time, the packaging changed 5 times, starting with the blue and white design. The first 27 figures were released in this style, which featured card backs that were cut into the shape of a Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmet and a bubble very much like the Revenge of the Sith line. In 2009, the packaging was changed to the red design, which now featured an image of the character on the card back and a more squared off blister. I have heard the third version called both Shadows of the Dark Side and Dark Skies. This new dark blue packaging was used from 2010 to 2011. It still had an image of the character on single-carded figures, but vehicles and battle packs featured an image of Rex with a storm brewing behind him. In 2009, the line was slowing down and the packaging was changed to the Darth Maul design. This time, the character image was removed, and Darth Maul appeared on all the card backs. Only 18 figures were released in this style. The final packaging style is known as the Yoda design and came out in 2013. Like the Darth Maul packaging, this design featured an image of Yoda on all of the single-carded figures. The 9 figures that were released with this package design were all repacks, except for the 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And since these card backs were never released in the US, I never spotted him on store shelves. It couldn't have been the Clone Wars line without including a lot of clones. When the toy line was going strong, it delivered almost every variation of clone that appeared on the show. So there are a few I have to mention before I get to my 10 favorite figures. Heavy was the only clone released wearing training armor. This figure might have been harder to find at the time because if you could find a bunch of them, it didn't take much customization to make yourself a domino squad. Gree is a great example of the super articulated Phase 1 clones the line gave us. Like many of the others, he has a removable helmet and both a DC-15 blaster rifle and DC-17 blaster. I just like his look in 41st Elite Corps green. The Clone Wars line also gave us a lot of great Army of the Republic ships, but until Matchstick came around, Oddball had to fly most of them. I like how his Phase 1 pilot armor is clearly the predecessor to what the Imperial TIE fighter pilots wear. Even though the Clone Commandos only appeared briefly on the show, Republic Commander Boss made it into the toy line. Boss is a really cool variation of a clone, and just an awesome figure. Bly is another of the super articulated Phase 1 clones. He has holsters that hold both of his DC-17 blasters, with the addition of a flip-down visor and his removable helmet. So now let's start the countdown, and look at who I have picked as my 10 favorites. At number 10, I am putting the headstrong Padawan Nadar Veb. Even with the variety of characters being added to the line, it seemed unlikely Veb would be selected to join in. But he was brought to the line as a mail-away, and in my opinion, the best of the 3 mail-aways offered by the line. In 9th place is the notorious Pre Vizsla, a great figure that represents the refinement of detail and articulation the line had built up to. He comes with a darksaber, removable helmet, jetpack, soft goods cape, and 2 West Star 35 blasters which fit nicely into 2 holsters. The line included a Mandalorian warrior and Mandalorian police officer, both very well done figures, but Vizsla is my favorite of the 3 Mandalorians featured in the line. A very nice version of Plo Koon came out as number 14 as part of the first set of 27 figures. But position number 8 goes to this version of him that I like to call Plo Cool. Plo Koon in cold weather gear was released in the line 2 times, the first being number 53 in the set of Dark Series packaging, and the second, number 6 of the figures that shipped out on the Darth Maul cards. Plo Kool is a very well sculpted figure that includes amazing detail and some really cool snow cleats. The first version of Obi-Wan was a good representation of the character, but my number 7 pick, the 3rd version, is an even better figure of the Jedi Master. The changing of his costume as the show progressed was represented by the 2nd version of Obi-Wan, which came out on the Dark Skies packaging. But the 3rd version, which was released on both Darth Maul and Yoda cards, refined the sculpt, adding detail to his robes and taking the overall look even closer to what we saw on the show. Number 6 goes to Savage Opress, another character that was featured multiple times in the line. The 2 different versions are usually referred to as shirtless and armored. My pick goes to the shirtless version of Savage, which is him in the earlier part of his story, before he picks up his double-bladed saber. Both versions were available in the Dark Skies packaging. Shirtless was released again on the Darth Maul cards, and Armored was one of the figures on the Yoda cards. The Armored version also came as part of this really cool battle pack which included Darth Maul with robot legs and Mother Talzin. In the number 5 slot, we have my favorite Star Wars character of all time, the loyal and mighty Chewbacca. I think the Clone Wars version is a spectacular depiction of Chewie when he showed up at the end of Season 3. Not long after appearing on the show, he was released as number 63 of the Dark Skies group. Then he got a bit of a repaint and was offered again on the Darth Maul card. This is a highly poseable version of Chewie with 13 points of articulation and, for the first time, a removable bandolier. In 4th place is one of the few Clone Wars figures I don't have in my collection, Commander Wolffe in Phase 2 armor. Wolffe was released once before in his Phase 1 armor as part of the Dark Skies line, then later in his Phase 2 armor as number 17 on the Darth Maul cards. Like many of the clones, Wolffe is basically a Rex body, but has a unique and very cool helmet. I love the Wolffe pack and wish we could get a version of Commander Wolffe in his officer's uniform from Season 1, Episode 2, but I am looking forward to the Phase 2 Wolffe that will soon be a part of the Vintage collection. I wasn't always a fan of Captain Rex, but after seeing him grow throughout the show, and then watching the series finale, that soldier stole my heart. So at number 3, we have Rex decked out in his Phase 2 armor. Although his helmet is not removable, it has all the right details represented cleanly and at a tiny scale. I probably should have an open version of Phase 2 Rex in my collection, and how is he not in the Vintage collection yet? Straight out of Florum, we have my number 2 pick, Hondo Ohnaka. Hondo is a really outrageous but cool character who I was extremely happy to see join the line as number 41 in the red packaging. This figure captures a great likeness of the insolent pirate. He comes with a vibro cutlass, pistol, and the cackling Kowakian monkey lizard, Pilf Mukmuk. Number 1 on my list is the fierce but kind Ahsoka Tano. A few versions of Ahsoka were released over the time that the line ran, starting with the original version, which was number 9 of the first set of figures, and then repacked as number 26 in the red packaging. The other versions of Ahsoka that were part of the line were Spacesuit Ahsoka and Ahsoka in scuba gear. But my first place pick goes to the young Jedi after she changed her costume and started carrying 2 lightsabers. I like this version of Ahsoka the best because it is how we see her throughout the majority of the Clone Wars episodes. But if somehow we ever get a Season 7 Ahsoka, Well, my top choice might change. So that's 10 of my favorite figures from the Clone Wars line. Who did I leave off, or what's your top 10 list? Let me know in the comments below. If you're a customizer and are interested in having your custom figures or dioramas featured on the show, send me your custom work on Instagram at #KesselRunReview or drop me an email at kesselrunreview@gmail.com. Are you a customizer looking for parts to make Clone Wars customs? Then be sure to check out the great stuff at Outer Rim Traders. To browse all of their available cast parts and accessories, go to facebook.com/outerrimtraders and click the Shop Now link. I'll be back next time with more additions to my collection, awesome customs, and next time, a figure giveaway. A big thanks to you for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.
He can go about his business. Move along.